Hi, this is part 2 of setting up and configuring the Centrify DB2 SSO module. This module enables DB2 users running on Unix or Linux to enjoy some of the benefits of having the centralized administration, streamlined authentication, and policy enforcement that is enabled by the Centrify agent. So in the previous video, we've downloaded the proper version required. We've also installed it, RPM install, but it's not enabled until you run the setup DB2 script. This script is actually under user share. So I'm going to do dz-do user share Centrify DC bin, and it's set up DB2. And all I need to do is specify the instance name. So in this case, it will be DB2 inst1, which is the default, right? So once I run that, in this case, I'm using dz-do, so I'm being asked by my AD password. So it says, is DB2 inst1 a DB2 server install? Yes, for if it's correct, so yes. So it says DB2 inst1 is a 64-bit instance. Which version is it? Is it 9.5 or later? And the answer is yes. So this is the main menu now. So there's basically 3 options. We can do the user name and password plugin plus the single sign-on plugin. This would be to do many steps at the same time. Then there's the single sign-on only plugin. This will be an option that if you have AIX and you're not using PAM as your authentication mechanism and you're using LAM, the username password plugin will not work. So you will have to use GSSAPI SSO. But because this may be a little bit more effort on your side, if you're a Unix administrator, you need to talk to AD guys to get you a service account. We're going to do that in another video, but let's focus on the username password only. So we're going to press 3 in this case. We're going to select that everything that's going to the server is going to be encrypted. We're going to use the group plugin, and it's basically telling us that we need to specify what is the group owner, and that's we're going to use the defaults here. So notice these are the changes that it's going to make during the installation. So when I press yes here, ultimately what it's going to do is going to enable these plugins at the DB2 level, and and it's going to issue a DB2 stop and then a DB2 start. So we're going to do yes. And as you can see, everything is going well, and now it's starting up DB2. So now let's go ahead and verify that everything is working correctly. And first and foremost, let me go ahead and take a look in here. If I were to look at the etc password file, so let's just say cat etc password. And if I wanted to look for Diana is not there, so we have verified that this user is coming from an AD, and we could do something like this. We could do get dent password dworth. This is her profile. Same thing with AD query user minus a dworth. So we get more information about the user. I have the sample database already enabled. The path to DB2 is already enabled for this user. So I could issue the command db2 connect to sample user dworth, and you will notice that I'll be able to connect. So now I'm already on DB2. So I can open the prompt, and if I needed to know what groups I belong to, and I'm going to put it on the side here, so I'm going to go and open Diana's profile here. She happens to be a very powerful user. So notice all the groups that she belongs to. But I'm going to go ahead and just exit out. I'm going to connect as a different user. Let's go ahead and connect as Fred Thomas. So it would be user Fred Thomas. Notice that Fred Thomas has a login name that is longer than 8 characters, and notice the truncation here. So let's do it with Fred Thomas here and take a look at Fred and his group memberships. So I'm not a DBA, so I'm gonna basically cheat here and get some DB2 commands that I know are gonna show me the groups that the user belongs to. This is to test the group plugin, right? So I already have that information available for me. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. And I'm gonna put up the end users group here. So notice all the groups that he belongs to, including Office 365 and not. So if I open DB2 and I issue this command, this is going to show me all the groups that I belong to as a user. And notice that everything that I have listed here is already here. In addition, if I were to disable Fred Thomas in Active Directory, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and quit. And let's do do AD flush. If I were to do something like DB2 connect to sample user Fred Thomas, notice that I'm going to get an error because Fred Thomas happens to be disabled. So, and again, this is how we test. So we tested that we were able to log in with a user account that does not exist in the etc password file. We were able to log in with a user that has a more than 8 characters with their AD credentials, and we were able to enumerate the groups that the user belonged to. And at the same time, when we disabled the user in AD, they weren't able to log in. So I hope you enjoy this video, and the next one is gonna work with the SSO plugin for DB2.